guys, so here we are with day 3 of our, what did we call it, Roxy's Christmas stitchery, and today I'm going to make a cute Christmas mushroom ornament. So I've always been wanting to make one of these, and I sort of winged it a bit, but I will then tell you, I didn't watch a video when I made this, but I did watch a video whilst I was making it, you know, through my own brain how to do it. But there's a wonderful video, and I want to try some of her mushrooms. I can't remember the lady's name, but I'll put the link in the description box. And she makes all kinds of different shapes and everything, and it's really cool. But mine is fully stitched mushrooms. So let me tell you what you're going to need. I've got all my bits here to make another one. I've got 2 because I had to remember how I made it, even though I just made it the other day. All right, so you're going to need some, well, I'm using this velour sort of stuff with the sparkles. You could also use felt as well, or you could use fabric. You can do it however you like. So I'm going to use velvet or velour, and this one happens to be sparkly, so that way I don't really need to decorate the top. If I was using like a felt, I might choose a felt. I can get felts here in Italy with spots. I think those would be super nice, these types of felts. And if I didn't have one with spots, I would simply put some, I've got sparkles everywhere, I would put some beads on, or you know, embroider little dots on them if you wanted to have that sort of look on top, but mine are just going to be sparkly on top. Okay, then you need you need a piece of linen. Oh, this is like a, I don't know if this is a hemp or an old linen. It's quite thin. You don't want your fabrics to be too thick. I've got another piece here, which is what I used on this one, and I used it there. This is a long piece of it. I've got these so I can give you some measurements. And then you need, oh, I just pulled that out just in case I wanted to use that, and you can have the linen for underneath, or I've got a taffeta. I'm going to do this sort of, I think it's like a taffeta. I'm going to do that underneath on this one, and then maybe just the linen on the bottom. So yeah, you need something for the top, something for underneath, which can be the same fabric, and then something for the stalk as well. Oh, and a little bit of cheesecloth. Sorry, I've got cheesecloth. This is the coffee dyed cheesecloth that someone sent to me, and I think I bought it in a pack, sorry. And then I've got some organza, but you could have like a thin lace or an organza or a tulle or whatever you like, because I liked it with the little skirt on there. So you need those as well, and of course then you need some thread and needle and some beads. If you want to embellish, then you could stitch your loop on there, but I stitched on a little ring that jewelers use, and then put my little trim on top to hang it on the tree. So that's what you need. So the next step is to cut out your pieces. So I'm going to do my top with this, and I used my circle template, and this one I'm going to use the 3.5 inch, so the diameter is 3.5 inches, and I'll have to use a pen. So I'm drawing it onto the reverse side, and I'm going to cut that out. We'll cut all our pieces out, and then we'll start. Very organized today. It's very unlike me. I don't think I quite went off screen in the other video, but almost in some bits, which I apologize. You know, I wanted to zoom in and show you better, and that's what happens. So I'm not zooming in today. We're not going off screen. So I'll cut out my circle. So my diameter, I'll just repeat that. I'm giving you dimensions today. I mean, the organization is just beyond. 3.5 inches diameter. For those who don't use inches, times it by, or just Google inches to centimeters, and you will get it. Right, so that I cut that out. I keep those because I can cut little berries out of those things for another project. I keep the little corners. They're perfect berry size. I just love these clever Italians making this sparkly stuff. Okay, so that's that. Then we need our strip. Now this is my original strip. I made sure I cut it. Thankfully I cut out one the same size to keep as a template. So it's 2.5 inches by 11.5 inches long. You may not be able to see that. So 2.5 inches wide, 11.5 inches long. So I wanted to do mine in taffeta. So I am going to, oh, that's not quite, there we go. That's perfect. So I just need to put a snip in the 2.5 point. So I just put it on my mat here and put a snip there and rip it. I think it will rip. Oh, it won't rip that way. Bottom. Okay, it's all right. I did say it bottom. I'll say it again. I fold over like this and I seem to be able to cut okay. That's how I cut all my fabrics. I try that rotary, you know, the rolly cutter thing. It never works. Mine never works. Even if I change the blade, I'm just hopeless at it. Probably because I'm a lefty. I don't know. I'm left-handy. Right, so that's going to be for under my mushroom. 2.5 by 11.5. And then this was my bodgy piece that I cut out. You don't need a big piece for the stalk. It doesn't actually even matter. You might want to do it narrower. But that measures 3. Doesn't look like it's a square, does it? But it's probably 3 by 2.5. 3 by 2.5 and 3 by 2.5. And I think, well, this one's not quite as deep, but I'll just have a shorter one. So I'm going to cut 3, and this one's going to be a bit shorter than the other one. Doesn't matter. It's no biggie. So that one will be, oh, it's nearly 2.5. It's about 2.25, this one. So that one's going to have a shorter thing. So I'll put those over there. So I keep these so I can remember. And I think that's all I need to cut out for now. I don't need to cut. I'm not going to cut out my tulle. I just winged it. Doesn't matter how wide that is. You can just make it up. And then that you just take a bit of the cheesecloth off, and I just stitched it on, and then I did French knots over it. But you could put little beads in there. You could do green, like it's green, or you could get a green one and do like it's moss or something like that. I just stuck with the beige tones. Now here I want to find the center, and there are other ways you can do these. This is just what I came up with off the top of my head. I did look at some photographs because I hadn't, there's the center, so that's where I'm going to cut a little wedge out. I'm not going to do it too deep. That's probably 1/2 inch from the center down to 1/2 inch, and cut a little triangle out, and then you get this shape. Then I need to take my thread, and I'm just going to hold it right sides together, and I might come down here so that way I start there so my edges meet up, and we're going to do a little back stitch here. Oh, and I forgot to say we need polyfill as well, but we need that for most of the projects that well, not all of them, but some of them, half of them, we need polyfill. Of mine, I think it's probably for my sisters as well, some of them. Okay, so I don't want, I would just tuck that in when I stitch it to the rest, but I'm doing a little back stitch. You could machine, but I don't think that it's going to be very fun to machine stitch velour. Depends what you're using. It would, I mean, literally it's the shortest distance that you have to stitch. It just takes a few seconds to do. So honestly, I don't think it's necessary. But don't do big stitches because you'll get big gaping gaps. And I'm just sort of eyeballing more or less the distance there, that it sort of stays the same. So none of my projects I think are super fast because I am then doing a little bit of beading and things, and I'm hand stitching everything. And that was our point, was that it would be the hand stitch, slow stitching, enjoying the process sort of projects, not doing it in a hurry. You'll be doing it in a hurry if you leave it to the last minute and you want to hang them on presents, then you'll be in a hurry. But I'm not in a hurry. Well, I'm kind of in a hurry because I have to do my videos. Okay, thank goodness I started thinking about it early because normally I leave it to the day and then I'd be really stressed. Okay, I've got a loop there. I just leave that. I won't even bother trimming it because it's going to be inside. And just trim that. Put that over there. And so there we have our cap. Then I'm just going to prepare these bits. This bit is going to go like this. Oh, that's a short bit. We're going to again do little back stitch, right sides together. This doesn't have a right side, but that's what we're doing. So leave yourself a little bit of a seam allowance. And you probably can't see, but I'm doing very little back stitch here. So we'll prepare this so it's ready to go. So there's only a few elements that you need to prepare and then you're ready to start constructing. Oh, I stabbed myself. Oh my wordy lordy. Oh goodness. Okay, and then I'm just going to end that off, make sure I tie it off. And now I'm going to consider, oops, I lost my needle. Where's it gone? Oh dear, it's gone in my clothes somewhere. Or did it go? There it is, found it. Maybe I'll get a longer one. Not that I need, oh well, I do need it afterwards. Okay, so what we're going to do is gather the bottom. And what fun gifts, I think, to give people. Okay, so to gather the bottom, I'm just going to, no, actually I want that roughness to be on the outside, so I'm just going to snip that up. I'm going to turn it and then do that. I want that on the outside so it's messy. I'll just put my knot back in. I don't think I did that on the other one, and I thought when I did it I would like the messiness on the outside, not inside, not all neat. So just turn. If you do it too narrow, then to push it through you need a pokey thing, like you need to push it through with something like that if it's really narrow. I didn't actually need it, but I just wanted to show you. So I'm just going to go in here like so, and you'll notice I did not actually do any drawing on my pieces to cut them out. I just put snips and then random. It's not, you know, it doesn't really matter. Like I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter if they're precise or not. We're not making a quilt. So I'm just doing a running stitch and I'm gathering, and I'm going to have my messiness on the outside, not tucked in. You can do it on the inside and then you turn it and then it's got a little bottom. Looks like a little cat's bottom. But mine's going to be like that. So I'm going to put a knot there. I'm sorry about my description, but that's the best way to describe it. A cat's bottom. Okay, am I on screen? Yes, oh, well and truly on screen because I didn't zoom in, thank goodness. That was a flop. Okay, now there's lots of stitching that's going to happen on there, so I'm not worried about that. Now I need my polyfill. I'm just going to get it ready now. Get it ready now. We need some polyfill up here because we need that as we go. And we're just going to push that in. I might get my pencil to help me. I don't want it to be too chunky. Oh, look at that. The other one was a little bit more chubby because I was probably a wider piece. If you want it to be more chubby like this, then we did 3 inches. You might do 3.5 inches and you're going to get a more chubby piece. And then what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to push it in with my pencil because it's not doing what I want it to. There's my little thing. I'm just going to do the same as what I did on the bottom and gather it in. I'll put my knot on there. Not that you'll be able to see it, it's all going to be covered. And I am going to... Now what I didn't do on my other one was, I didn't put, because I'm one of those people, I sort of like to see it kind of almost put together before I do any sort of other stitching. So where possible, I will put it all together and then I will do the sorts of any embroidery that I need to do. So there we go. That's going to attach to the top. I'm just going to end that off. Again, it doesn't matter because it's going to be stitched again. So I could do embellishing on that now like this one, but I actually did that when it was on the thing, and I think I'll do the same because that's just how I am. But you do whatever makes you happy. Now here with our strip, just say you have a direction, right sides together. This one doesn't really have a direction, but I'll pretend. And again, we are going to just do our little teeny tiny back stitch. You could do your sewing machine, whatever you like. It'll take me more time to pull out my sewing machine and set it up than just do the stitching as it is by hand. And this is how they used to do it in the old days. So I had some fluff in my thread and that would have caused me issues. Okay, getting there. It doesn't actually matter how perfect it is because you won't even notice it. Well, I don't think you will anyway. Just make sure it's not, you don't want to gather that. That's not what we're gathering. Okay, now turn it out the right way, like so. And now we need to gather the top and the bottom. I've got another colorway that I've sort of started, so I'll show you that after. I mean, and again with these, the possibilities are endless with how you can embellish or what materials you use. You can experiment. You could do it with wool. Oh, it'd be beautiful with wools but as I said, mine, I want mine to have a bit of sparkleness on them, so that's why I chose what I'm using. So it is a little bit frayy, this fabric, but I'm getting there. I'll pull it in a minute. So really mine is probably more of a hodgepodge of things that I saw, how people made them. So I'm going to pull that. I can pull it as tight or as little as I want. I think I'll do that. Will go inside. No, I like that on the outside, so I need to leave it a little bit like that. Get a new piece. Get those bits off because they are a little bit hazardous. So again, do the same here. I think the smaller I were to do my stitches, the more nice ripples I would get, but I haven't paid attention to that. But you may want to pay attention to that if you want more ripples for under your mushroom cap. I'm going a bit faster now. So I chose not to keep this mushroom all white because I do, a lot of my Christmas decorations are really colourful. So yeah, I'm not just all pink and, like red and green sort of Christmas tree. It has all colours. Okay, let's pull it in. Oh, not with a knot. Won't be going anywhere. Come on, knot, go away. Thank you. Don't you come in at the end. So that's, oh no, look at that. Isn't that lovely? And you can adjust it a little bit to go under there. Oh, that's going to be lovely. Okay, let me just so let me just see here. That's got nice. Oh, that's got good ripples too. Okay, that's my circle, and it does more or less work with this. So, well, it did the first one. What I'm going to do is grab my thread. I've got a knot. And basically, I'm going to go round and stitch the cap to the fluffy bit. I'm going to call it the fluffy bit on the bottom. And you can see I'm just sliding my, because it's nice fabric, I can just slide my fabric for my needle forward inside the apricot-y peachy colour, salmon-y sort of colour. the taffeta. So as I said, this is my method, what I came up with, just looking at photographs and trying to figure it out. I also think that possibly you could make a really big yo-yo for your mushroom top and fill that, and then do a similar type thing on the bottom, and that would also get you a mushroom shape. But I'm not going to make a yo-yo with the velvets or the felts. But if you're using fabric, it could be a good option. Oops. To be tried. So I will stitch around this, and I'll pause the video and stitch around. I'll just show you the other colorway. I've got this beautiful blue one as well. I'm going to do the blue taffeta. I just made that one to remind myself of the steps. I haven't stitched that one's little leggies. The little one of these, I'll do that too, so we can have two on the go. And oh, just love them. So I'll be back in a minute. So I am back, and you can see I've got a little bit of bunching here, but that's okay. It just adds to the ripples. It's not a problem. But before I get, I've got a little gap here. Before I get to the end, actually I might just put an extra stitch in there. I'll catch that bunching there. Just going to put a couple of, oh my goodness, you don't want knots now. That's the second time. And they're nasty ones. They're not, oh no, it came out. I'm just going to put another stitch in there just to hold it while I put the fill in. Okay, so in here I'm going to put some filler. Okay, just grab some more. You want to make sure like you can push as much as that out as possible. I'm sure no two mushrooms will work out the same. Got my thread in there. It's better. Let's see how we're going. And just you can wiggle it around. I think that's enough. So now I can continue on. This is why you don't want your stitches too far apart, because otherwise you'll have gaps. We don't want gaps. Now I am going to bead or put something around the edge, so I'm not too worried if it's a bit messy. Maybe if I had pulled it a little bit tighter in the center, it probably would be fit better. But look, you just wing it. Okay. Then another thing I did, it's a funny shaped mushroom. I don't know why, I just wanted to have that little indent in there. I didn't want it to be, let's see, I didn't want it to be, oh, it could be pointy. I put a little stitch in there and held that down. I think I'll do it again. Actually be a good time to stitch on a ring now. I'll just do it after. Stitch your ring on now. I have to get one. I don't have one nearby me right now, so I'm not going to stitch my ring on. I'm going to grab this, and I'm now going to stitch that on while I've got my thread here. So just hold your little thing. That's a little bit fiddly, but you'll get there. And you just catch it to stitch it on. And then just keep adjusting it, making sure it's in where it should be. So I'm catching my foofy thing here and the what do you call it, the stalk, the stem, the stalk. So yeah, you want to make sure you don't have fabrics that are too thick to stitch through, because otherwise you'll be struggling. Ow, stabbed myself. Now don't forget I'm going to be putting a skirt there, so it doesn't matter if it's a bit messy. Just catch it. It's really not that hard. It's just a few kind of fiddly bits, but not overly fiddly. There we go, we're back at the beginning, and that is secured on there. And oh, look at it, it's already taking shape. And then really it's the embellishing that we then do. And you can do different embellishing, you know, you don't have to do them all the same. I'm just going to do this one the same as the other one, just so you can see. Look at all the sparkles. I'll have to get some tape onto there. So then I'm going to grab this this tooly stuff, and I mean, I literally cut a piece, I'll tell you how long, 13 inches, probably by not even, maybe 1 inch. And look how messy it is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You could use lace, as I mentioned. And then I'm just going to gather that. A lot of gathering happens with these mushrooms. Actually, I could also, well, no, I don't think I'll bother. I didn't do it on the other one. So again, you could, you know, stitch the edges, but I'm not going to bother, because you can't even look here. Where is it? See, I have to find it. See, I didn't attach them. You could put a stitch in there and attach them if you want to. I mean, it's done in my totally true, relaxed Rachel fashion. Okay, so here, oh, I don't think I'm going to do it on this one, because look at the nice gathering it has. This one didn't have such nice gathering. All I did here was, once I put my skirt on, although you could do it before, I just got an perle cotton, and I'd go up, across, down, across, up, across, down, and put those stitches over it. But I don't want to put it on this one because I've got the nice effect already, so I'm not doing that. Now here, do I have a thicker bit? I do, because I need to put my knot somewhere, otherwise it won't hold. So then we're just going to gather this like we did the others. So I saw on the ones with, after I'd made mine, the ones with the long stalks that are wired, and you can make them like a feature on a shelf. They quite often put these little fluffy skirts on halfway up the stalk. Well, I'm putting mine under the cap, the mushroom cap. It's a little bit more fiddly to gather because it's tulle, so it's got big holes and it doesn't stay. Until you pull it. So let me just continue doing that. Oh, look, I'm nearly there. No, I just realized because it might be a bit of a long video, but I won't finish the thing fully. Like I got to do the beads around the edge. They take a while, but I'll show you how I do them, and then you know, not do it all on camera. And also the French knots at the bottom take a long time, longish time. I don't care that that's uneven. I'll just go along and wing it. Just as long as you don't pull up your little skirty bit, because this is going to attach. I'm going to stitch it on. Where's the beginning here? So, oh, I was going to put it back onto the other one. So what I want to do is tuck it up here, stretch it around. So that's why we don't knot it until we sort of move it around a bit on here, like so. So where is my thread here? And then I'm just going to start putting stitches in to hold it on like this. I'm really just doing a running stitch forward. Again, that's why you don't want fabrics that are too thick, so that you can easily get your needle in there and maneuver it. Who knew that they were so easy? I just need to slide that up a little bit. There we go. Catch that. A little gap there. I'm just going to catch that with this. I've caught my skirt. Oh, I got it out. This is not stitched on yet. So this skirt is probably a little bit big for this one. So I may trim it a little bit, we'll just see. I could just gather it up a bit more. Oh no, that's all right. I might just gather up that bit a bit more. Okay, cute. And then just end it off the usual way. Do a few loopy knots. Ow, don't stab yourself. Cute. That's what it's looking like so far. Then we're going to take a little piece of this I want it to be one layer. There's multiple layers there. I don't know how much I need. I'll just cut a bit off and bunch it up on here. The thing about it is you can stretch it a little bit too. Put that on there like that, and then I'll be doing French knots over it. So first of all, what I did was I just went around and put some stitches in, just to, oh, my thread's double, I don't want that. Just little stitches to hold it in place, but the French knots will hold it also in place. And I didn't cover up, I purposely didn't cover that up. So what I'll do now is pause the video, I'll start doing some French knots and some of the beading, and then I'll come back and maybe I'll finish it with you guys, and I'll get my ring and we can stitch that on, and then it's pretty much done. Oops. There we go. And you can even make this looser, put more on, make it looser, have bits sticking out, but I've stitched it down. So there we go, we'll end that off. I'll start my French knots and my beading. It'll take me a while, and then I will come back so you can see the rest of it. But how cute, look, 2 mushrooms. Okay, I'll see you soon. Hi guys, so I am back, and I have started doing the beading, or nearly finished the beading, but I wanted to show you how I do it. So I'm just collecting up, and bring them over closer. I'm just collecting up random, I've got 2 types of beads, one's a glass one, one's a silvery gold one, and I'm just randomly, well there's a white one, we'll grab that one. I'm just randomly picking them up and in 3s, and then I just go through about the distance that I think they need to go, and they just sit there, and I love the way they sit on the edge of the mushroom cap. I'm just using a milliner's needle, so just some of the beads are slightly smaller than others, so just double check. Yep, they all went. So sometimes I'm mixing them up, so that was all sort of glass sort of ones. Now I'll do a mix. It's really easy. I do keep stabbing myself. Not ideal. And I probably need a couple more. 3 is a nice number because you don't have to add an extra stitch to hold them in place. There we go. See? Done. Okay, and then I'll just do a little knot. Super easy. Now while I'm here, I'm going to stitch my little loop in, and then we'll go down and finish the bottom of the mushroom. I'm going to stitch it in here. Okay, that should be enough. just knotting it. Okay, so I'll just move all the beads over there. And then here, I'm nearly at the end. I'm just doing my French knot, so let me rethread my needle. Okay, where do I need to go? So normal like a French knot, 1, 2. I'm just doing 2 because this is quite a thick perlé cotton. And I'm just gonna, you hold on to your tail and then put the needle where you want to go next. And there's, some of them are loopy, but that's okay. It just adds to the texture. I'm only going to put a few more in. Maybe one more. As your thread shortens too, it's a bit more difficult. And then here I just simply go through the fabric a few times. And, oh, well, I got a tangle there already, but I think I'll just leave it. Okay, and it's kind of like there's a French knot there as well. Okay, so we can add our cord, and I think I'm going to do this one. Just going to put it in here. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. Very nice. So close your eyes. I'm going to pull you back up. Okay, so that is finished. We made one. So I will link the other video. I wanted to get some made before I did this video, but I didn't get them done. There's my first prototype. Actually, I probably could have put that string in. It would have been nice. And I'm just working on the blue one. I've got to put the skirt on. I started doing the French knots. I might do a bit less French knots than I did on these because I kind of like it like that. You know, here you could, you know what would be nice there is, I need to cut that off. Actually, I might end it because I got a knot there. I might, turkey work would be cute too. Anyway, I might just do the ruffle so they all go together. And that one's going to get beads around it as well. So super cute. So I hope you enjoyed that project. As I said, I will link the video of the lady that makes really cool different ones that you can also make as sort of standing ornaments on the mantle. And she did a whole variety. I think she tried some other people's tutorials and stuff like that. So you may enjoy that. This is a fairly simple way of doing them. That came to me, and super fun. So have fun with it, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.